Hey folks on the internet. Today's video is about charts, and I'm not talking about music videos. I'm talking about Chart.js, a JavaScript library, a very powerful library to easily create different kind of charts. So today we'll create 4 of them. One donut chart like here, one bar chart like this one, a radar chart here, and last but not least, a pie chart. So we'll cover those 4 chart types in today's video, and basically let's directly jump in and start. So let's start with an index HTML file here and spin up a basic HTML construct here. So let me make this a little bit bigger. HTML. So let's quickly give it a title, charts. Let's create a header. Again, charts. And let's have a quick look in our browser and settle down the preconditions we have. So let's go to Chrome. Whoa, my PC. Here it is, Google Chrome. And here's our file spin up, and we have our headline charts. Now, coming to our preconditions, we have 2. So one is let's use Bootstrap for styling reasons. Very powerful UI framework. Just type in Bootstrap CDN, get started, and copy the CSS link here to your HTML file. So simply like this. And second precondition, like mentioned, we need to use Chart.JS, of course. So let's go to Chart.js. Here's the getting started section, which specifies two steps. One, including a canvas with an ID of your chart. And second one, a link to the library itself. So here to Chart.js version 2.8.0. So let's first of all include the script in our HTML file like this. And then secondly, let's copy the canvas to our body. So basically, within the canvas, our chart our chart is getting created with this ID my chart. So we are interlinking the HTML with the JavaScript Chart.js stuff over this canvas here. And let's have a closer look at this now. So now let's come to the JavaScript stuff, the fun part. So let's create a new file or interlink it first here. Script source equals to script.js. Oh, come on, script.js. Script. And please note the ID my chart here. Keep this in mind before we now jump into our script.js, which we create now. New file, script.js. Basically, let me move this a little bit away. All right, welcome to the JavaScript part here. So first of all, let's create a new variable. Let my chart1 and query our my chart1 ID. So document get element by ID like this, and let's query the my chart. ID on the canvas element from our HTML. So when we go back here, my chart, this ID here, we are getting this. And we have to set a context here. So get context to do 2D, because we are creating 2-dimensional charts here. Next, a new variable, let chart1, which actually creates or renders a chart. So for this, we can use the command new chart. We have to give our variable here where the my chart ID is queried. So my chart1, comma, brackets, and basically this is being used to render the chart now. And basically, first of all, for all charts, it's the same. When we use Chart.js, we have to specify a type. And we want to start with a donut chart here. So let's give it a type of donut. And then already we can specify data. And it's really nice because it's all following a JSON structure here, which makes it very easy to navigate through and define the necessary steps and variables. So coming to our data, we can define labels. And we will come to this in a minute. First of all, let me just call it labels1 here. Next, we can define the data sets. Because potentially we could have several sets on a chart, but let's start with one. So data equals data1 and background color equals colors1. So we will come to this labels1, data1, colors1 in just a minute. Just ignore it for now. So after we are finished with the data sets, we can close the data tag here. So we're closing this data stuff here. And then we move on with the comma and we can specify certain options. So in the options, we can define stuff like, for example, a title. And for the title, we have again two options. In this case, let me indent this a little bit. In this case, the question we want to answer with our donut chart. So in this case, as we are using a donut chart, why not asking the question, do you like donuts? And we can set the display of the title to true. All right, I think that's it already for the donut chart. So basically we need to specify the type, the title. So basically the question we want to answer with this chart. And then now we have to come back to our labels, data, and colors. So basically for the labels, I just gave it or specified it as labels1. Basically, let's just create a variable labels1 here on the top, which we can which we will hand in the values here. Yes. So do you like donuts? Yes. Or yes, but in green, and you will see what's behind this in a minute. And then we can specify the new variable data1, where we can just specify the values of our answers to the question. So do you like donuts? Yes, yes, but in green. And 69% said yes, and 31% said yes, but in green. And then we can specify our colors. Let colors1 equals to, and now let's for both answers give a certain color. For the first one, let's give 49 A9 EA. And for the second one, let's hand over 36 CAAB. All right, basically we created we could have put those stuff directly in here. So we could have put the labels directly here, the data directly here, and the background colors right here in the specification of the chart. But I like to separate it because I think it's more easy to change afterwards. Let's have a look at our index.html file. Here we are. Let's refresh it. And you can see nothing, because we got a syntax error in line 19. Let's have a look. Line 19, display true. I forgot a comma here. My bad. Let's save it again, go back, refresh it, and here you can see our chart. So do you like donuts? Yes, yes, but in green. And that's it. Isn't it easy, right? All right, so our next chart will be a bar chart, and we want to answer the question, which airline carries how many passengers? So let's Google a little bit. Passengers by airline. And let's check out Wikipedia here, world's largest airlines by passengers carried. And let's have a look at 2017 and display what we see here, so those values in a bar chart. So let's get back to Atom. That is where we stopped. Let's move to our index file and create a new canvas for our new chart. And let me just call it, or give it the ID mychart2. Let's move back to the JavaScript part. Basically, we can copy everything over here. So let me just, oh, come on, everything what we did, each and every single line. Oh, what's wrong with my PC? Like this, all right. And let's copy it over here. Now let's change the variables to labels to, data to, colors to, my chart to, query the ID mychart2 here. So we give it the ID mychart2. Also change it here to chart2, change the label to label2, the data2, and the colors to colors2. And now let's work on the labels first of all. So let's go back to Wikipedia and let's pick some of them. Let's not take all values. So let's start with American Airlines group. So American Airlines group. Second, let's pick one from Europe. Let's pick Ryanair from Ireland. Like this. Third, let's pick a Chinese one here, China Southern Airlines. And last but not least, let's pick Lufthansa Group. Let's take over the values. So American Airlines carried 199.6 million passengers in 2017. So 199.6. Ryanair carried 113 million passengers. 130.3. China Southern Airlines carried 126.3, so 126.3. Last but not least, Lufthansa carried 130, exactly 130. Like this. This is our data. For the colors, let's take over the two colors we had in the donut charts, and let's create two more. Let's pick 34495E, and let's pick B370CF, like this. And now let's come to the charts and the chart settings. So in our first chart, we used the donut charts, and actually it's very flexible. So let's just change it to bar because we are using a bar chart here. And let's check out our index HTML. Let's refresh it. And you see we have a second chart over here. Basically, we forgot about the labels, and also we have a legend here, which we need to remove. But as you can see already, it's a really nice bar chart here. So we get our values here for American Airlines Group, for Ryanair, for China Southern Airlines, and for Lufthansa in different colors. Yeah, and that's actually already a nice bar chart. But let's remove this legend and let's change the question here. So basically, do you like donuts is not correct anymore. Number of passengers carried in 2017 in millions. And basically to get rid of this stuff here, this is actually a legend. We can remove it. It's also part of the options. So we have the title options here. Next, let's put a comma here. And let's define the settings of the legends option here, which is display equals false. Let's refresh it. And you see the legend is gone and our title here is now correct. As you can see, we have two charts now on one page. We want to create two more, but we want to put them next to each other. And here comes Bootstrap into the game. So let's quickly refactor our index HTML just a little bit. So basically, let's create a new div, class container here, and below on this div, let's create a new one with div class equals row. And below the row, let's create one more div class column 6 chart. And let's close our three divs, div, div, and div. Let me correct the indents here, so like this. And basically a class row places everything within one horizontal row. And within the class column, we can define how much space in the vertical level we give it. And here with column 6, the maximum is 12. We specify that this div gets exactly half of the space. So let's create another one, which also gets half of the space. And let's put our two charts in here. So this is not related to Chart.JS at all. It's Bootstrap stuff for yeah, basically styling our page. I don't want to focus into too much detail here because it should be more or less about Chart.js. But let's have a quick look. Let's refresh it. And you see both of the charts are placed next to each other in one row. And automatically they are gotten a little bit smaller. So yeah, nice. Actually, before we move to our radar chart, I forgot about one thing. So basically, this width and height definition in CSS doesn't work so well. So let's cut it here and let's put it into the canvas definition, but a little bit differently. So we can specify width here equals 500. Delete the pixels and oh, come on, height equals 400 like this. And let's copy it over to the second chart also. And this will look a little bit nicer in the end. All right, now let's move on to our chart number 3 and 4 and start with the radar chart. For this, basically, we will copy the whole row with its content here in our index.html file. And let's keep it like this for a moment and change the ID here to my chart 3 and my chart 4. And let's move on with my chart 3 first of all. So let's move to the JavaScript file again. And again, let's copy over all this stuff here and change the labels first of all. So what do we want to do in the radar chart? Basically, we want to compare two soccer players, Messi and Ronaldo, and we want to compare them in certain skill areas. So let's put those here in the label. So we want to compare them in the area attack, in the area defense, in the area passing skills, in the area of tackles, and last but not least, speed. So those are the labels, and as we are using a radar chart, the setup is a little bit differently. So we don't need data to and colors here. So we only need labels, but of course we need my chart 3, and we need to query the my chart 3 ID. And let's also put in a different name here. Let chart 3, change the labels here to 3. And first of all, change the type to radar. Now the data will look a little bit different here. So in this case, first of all, in the labels, we only keep the label 3 here to label attack, defense, passing, tackle, and speed. And in the data sets, we will set it up a little bit differently. So let's have a closer look to this. And basically, we will this time have two different data sets. One for the player Messi and another one for the player Ronaldo. So basically, let's set it up like this. Come on. So let's start with the data set for Messi. So let's give it a label, Messi. And then let's specify certain options in the chart. So we want to fill it. We want to give it a background color. Let's specify this in a minute. We want to give it a border color. Again, specify it in a minute. We want to specify the point border color when we point or hover over it, and a point background color like this. And last but not least, the data itself. So basically, let's start with the data. So we now can specify data for attack, defense, passing, tackle, speed, and let's start with attack. Let's give him a 50 here. For defense, let's give him a 12. For passing, he's very good in passing. Let's give him a 55. But he's not so well in tackles. Let's give him a 7. And in speed, he's also not the fastest, but quite accurate. Let's give him a 29. Now let's specify the background color, this time differently, not with hex values, but with RGBA values. So 179, 181, 198, and a transparency of 0.2. For the border, let's hand in the same values, but make it more solid. Let's give it a 1 here. And the point border color, let's give it an FFF here. And the point background color, let's give it the same here. All right, so this is the setup for our player Messi. Now we need to do the same again for the second player, Ronaldo. So let's put a comma here in between. Let's move to the second player, Ronaldo. And again, also let's give him certain data. So for attack, he's a little bit better than Messi. Let's put in 51. Defense, he's a little weaker. Let's give him a 10. Also in passing, he's much weaker, 32. But therefore, he's much better in tackles, 20, and much faster, 44. Let's also change the colors here. Let's give it 255, 99, 132. And let's copy it over here and here. And last but not least, we have to change the options. I think we don't need the legend this time, but the title should be different. Let's just give it a title of skills. And now let's have a look. And as you can see, we have a search chart here with a title skills. And we have two different, so we have here the red one, the Ronaldo, who's better than the gray one, Messi, in speed. But Messi is much better in passing and so on. So you can easily compare and see it here in the charts, which I like very much. So this is a radar chart. And then let's move on to our fourth chart, our last one for today, the pie chart. All right, so in our last chart for today, we want to visualize the population of the European Union. So let's have a closer look at this. Population of the European Union, like that. Let's go to Wikipedia. And we see the population by country here. So let's pick the top 5, so to say. Let's move this. Let's pick the top 5 and then one value for the others. So let's pick Germany, France, UK, Italy, Spain, and then sum up the rest. All right, let's move to our index HTML. We already named it my chart 4. Let's copy not chart 3 because the radar chart is quite set up a little bit differently. Let's copy chart1 to the bottom of the code. Let's define labels for, data for, colors for, chart for, my chart for, my chart for, labels for, data for, colors for. Now let's specify the labels, and as mentioned, let's put in Germany, France, UK, Italy and Spain, and Spain, and let's call the others. And the others are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 of them. Now let's have a look at the data and let's round it. So let's say for Germany 83, for France let's say 67, for UK 66, for Italy 61, for Spain it is 47, and for the rest I calculated it up front, it's 187. Alright, let's give colors, and basically we already had some colors here. Let's again copy them over. Here we are. And we need two more. Let's use AC 5353 and CFD 48. So 6 colors for 6 labels here. We need to change the type to pi. We hand over the labels here, we hand over the data here, and we hand over the colors here. We need to change the title, so population of the European Union in millions. And I think that's it already. Let's have a look. Let's refresh, and voila, here you see our pie chart here, the population of the European Union with the different countries and the leftovers here. And that's it, very nice. So I really like the Chart.js library. I think I will do more with it. In the next video, I will try to do live charts, so charts which are actually regularly updating automatically. So be curious about my next video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.